trust is the ultimate product that we're selling. Having a perfect track record and having done your homework and uncovered every single edge case, package that into a solution that is airtight is the experience.
There's clearly a tug of war, right, between scaling and doing things the right way. You can always cut corners and do things faster and grow quicker. The incentives are a bit malformed here. I'm Nick, founder of Chronicle, is essentially the first Oracle ever on Ethereum. And over the years, it's evolved out of the confines of just kind of securing MakerDAO, and now has kind of evolved into the largest tokenized asset Oracle, leveraging the kind of like new transformation of like traditional finance and bringing capital markets on chain.
This is Kevin. I'm one of the founders of the Grove protocol, and I lead product and engineering. Grove is one of the largest on-chain capital allocators today, part of the Sky ecosystem. We largely focus on the intersection of institutional DeFi and on-chain lending, and we're helping to pioneer what on-chain credit should look like. We were very early in the journey of building out the infrastructure that was needed to bring assets on-chain and to bring, the traditional Wall Street world onto blockchain rails. And I remember getting very deep into how Chronicle was thinking through the Oracle layer of that transition and being very aligned with Chronicle's vision about how it should not only be decentralized at heart, but also practical and compatible with both on-chain primitives, but also kind of off-chain data structures and processes.
Kevin is, even before we were working together, someone that just really understood what bringing capital markets on chain, what that transformation was going to look like, and what the primitives were that didn't exist yet, that needed to come to fruition, right, to enable that transformation. Tokenization needs to happen in stages, right? And so stage one was just deploying a tokenized asset, right? Just get it on chain, get it out there. But then you kind of start dealing with the next problem, which is that there is really no point in tokenizing something unless you can integrate it into DeFi. Because tokenized assets are not crypto native, they're essentially a wrapper, right, around an existing security. It looks like a token, but underneath it's not actually a token, right? Its essence is not a token. This is really like the void that Chronicle has kind of like stepped into. We are providing this real-time view inside of a tokenized asset, where we're connecting directly to the custodians, to the fund admins, the asset managers, to bring out all of this like rich metadata that a DeFi protocol needs to contextualize a tokenized asset.
For allocations associated with the Grove protocol, usually that goes through a fairly significant process that involves not only underwriting the technical infrastructure, which includes the Oracle layer, but also a legal and structural component. And finally, there's a financial and kind of underlying asset risk component. The main priority for the Grove protocol is to onboard assets in a safe and secure manner. Generally speaking, what that means, for example, when working with Chronicle, is the information that is served via the Chronicle Oracle protocol to the Grove protocol needs to be trusted. It also needs to be accurate, because decisions are being made at the smart contract level based upon this information.
People view Chronicle today is they just kind of hear Oracle. In their mind, Oracle has been mapped as this word of, it's just a smart contract that gives you a price. It's not going to be good enough for tokenized assets. There is so much information that Oracle, catering to tokenized assets, needs to deliver for a like substantive risk management system. And Oracle kind of works in the sense that garbage in, garbage out. You really need to ensure that you're getting your data from the origin. You really want to be at the base layer, which in our case, right, is the custodian more times than not. You want to be able to have a direct view into the securities and cash accounts to ascertain yourself.
In the traditional landscape, you have service providers that effectively enable financial instruments or deals to establish like a level of trust between different counterparties. So the same has to occur on the kind of on-chain financing layer, where you have either protocols talking to each other or protocols talking to institutions. Oracles are a key component, a keystone, if you will, of that trust layer, connecting protocols and institutions. Grove just launched one of its first products, Grove Basin, which is a instant redemption facility for tokenized assets, sort of reducing the gap of tokenized assets typically having sort of a T+1 or T+N redemption cycle down to an atomic instant redemption facility. In order to reliably redeem users instantaneously on chain, that relies heavily on the Oracle layer performing and providing fair NAV-based pricing.
We are bringing trust back into the equation. We don't want it to be that, protocols and people and users and institutions trust Chronicle. That is not the intent here. We want to reintroduce that trust with cryptography.
I think the current moment in crypto is that we have finally the intention of the counterparties and partners that we've been seeking to not only disrupt, but also collaborate and work with. And they're in the room with us. It's a joint effort in the sense that I think we're trying to put our best foot forward in terms of the technologies, the processes, the standards and practices. And at the same time, they're looking at us for solutions to their existing problems and really a business case to continue to champion sort of internally within their broader organization. It all comes down to, can we solve for some of the inefficiencies in the current system? Can the global capital markets benefit in somewhat way, shape, or form with the technologies that we're introducing? So it's a pretty pivotal moment, I would say.
But the custodians, the fund admins, the asset managers are really all in, right? There is still a very important role for them to play in a financial system that is tokenized. And so they're definitely looking for regulatory clarity. They're looking to scale this, crawl, walk, run. But their understanding is much farther along than this kind of way that crypto people tend to talk about institutions as like this black silhouette, with unknown intentions and questionable education. Like that is absolutely not the case anymore.
I think we've certainly moved up the stack. A lot of the conversations these days are of a more nuanced and very implementation and operational focused take. Trust is the ultimate product that we're selling. It takes a different type of founder to approach them in a principled and disciplined manner so that we don't keep our eye off the ball in terms of building trust.
When it comes to tokenized assets, I think we're in a really similar era right now where there's a lot of growth to be had with the introduction of trillions of dollars of traditional assets. But if we do it the wrong way, a lot of these, stalwart DeFi protocols that really thrived on being decentralized, they could all blow up and become insolvent in an instant.
The full value of tokenized assets only happens when there are mature on-chain capital market processes that are settling and happening on on-chain rails.
There is a right way and a wrong way to integrate tokenized assets, and if we do it wrong, we're going to find out sooner rather than later that something's going to blow up in a big bad way. Our focus is really just on not just enabling this technology, but really driving that change into creating smarter, better, more automated risk management systems.